Listen, I want you to picture the schedule for a second. The Chiefs have a primetime battle against the Commanders in Week 8, then a big trip to Buffalo in Week 9. On paper, those back-to-back assignments are huge. In reality, though, something just happened that might tilt the scales in Kansas City's favor. And it's not a trade, it's not a new play call, it's an injury. According to multiple reports, and highlighted in that KC Kingdom piece, Buffalo is fearing that Ed Oliver suffered a torn biceps and looks set to miss extended time. If that's the case, the Bills are suddenly a different team when it comes to their interior defensive toughness, and the Chiefs are already benefiting. Here's why that matters to you and me as fans. Oliver is not just another body on the line. He's a disruptive force. His run defense grade has been elite, and he sets the tone inside. The article pointed out his PFF numbers and how in limited snaps this season he's still been a big impact player with tackles for loss, QB hits, and sacks. Losing a player like that changes how you plan offensive snaps and play calls. For the Chiefs, that's an opening. With Ed possibly out, Buffalo has to lean on a rotation of Ogunjobi, Deone Walker, and Jordan Phillips. Solid players, yes, but they're not Oliver at full tilt. That creates a schematic window for Kansas City to take advantage of, especially if KC attacks the A-gaps and uses movement and misdirection to make those backups work laterally. You should also know the timing. This is not a late-season surprise. The reports came after the Bills' game versus Carolina, where Oliver left in a sling, and teammates and analysts are already weighing the long-term impact. That means when the Chiefs travel to Buffalo in Week 9, the Bills may still be figuring out line combinations and rotations. For you watching the game, that could look like more lanes opening for short zone runs, earlier push up the middle, and quicker downhill passing windows for Patrick Mahomes and the interior receivers. It also gives Andy Reid and the offensive staff a chance to exploit matchups they might have avoided if Oliver were active. Now, let's be honest. Injuries aren't wins on paper, and Kansas City still has to play clean football. The team's primetime matchup before facing Buffalo matters because you don't want to arrive beaten up or overconfident, but strategically, this is a break. If KC can stay healthy against Washington in Week 8 and then show up to Buffalo, knowing that the interior push from the Bills is lighter, you could see the Chiefs dictate tempo in ways that would have been much harder with Oliver snapping every play. Before I move on, I want to hear from you. In the comments right now, vote. Do you think Kansas City benefits significantly from Oliver's absence? Type yes or no and explain one reason why. If you like the breakdown so far, hit the like button. We're pushing towards 6,000 subscribers, and every new subscriber helps us get there. Also, quick poll idea for the community. Would you prefer the Chiefs to run early and aggressively in Buffalo, or open with short passing to set up play action later? Leave your pick, run or pass, and why. When you start thinking about how Kansas City can exploit this new version of Buffalo's defense, you've got to begin with how the Chiefs build rhythm offensively. Andy Reid and Matt Nagy love to use early drives as diagnostic tools. They'll test defensive fronts, alignment, tendencies, and reaction speed. Without Ed Oliver anchoring that Bills front, Kansas City can adjust its script from the first snap. Normally, Oliver's presence forces the Chiefs to use double teams or move the pocket away from the A-gap to protect Mahomes from instant pressure. But with him gone, the Chiefs can use their offensive line's natural strength, interior mobility, to open up those same lanes that used to be off-limits. One of the biggest opportunities now is the inside zone game. Isaiah Pacheco thrives when he can make a single cut and explode downhill, and Buffalo's front rotation without Oliver lacks the same leverage discipline. Larry Ogunjobi is experienced but can be moved laterally. Jordan Phillips offers size, but not the same agility. That combination allows Kansas City to lean more heavily on inside zone, duo, and trap concepts. Plays designed to hit fast before linebackers can crash. And that's important, because Buffalo's linebackers have been inconsistent in fitting their run gaps this season. With Oliver gone, you may see Nick Bolton and Creed Humphrey communicating pre-snap to change protections and exploit weak interior fits. That's how you build confidence early in a hostile environment. Mahomes also benefits directly from this change. The Bills' typical formula against him involves a four-man rush with Oliver collapsing the pocket, forcing Patrick to roll in to help defenders. Without that push, the Bills might have to blitz more often or use simulated pressures that open up space behind the line. That's when Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice become lethal. Expect more quick slants, shallow crossers, and tight end screens to slow Buffalo's pass rush even further. Those plays don't just move the chains, they force Buffalo to reveal coverage rotations, which Mahomes reads better than anyone in the league. Another thing to keep in mind is how Kansas City can use motion and tempo. Pre-snap movement has always been one of Andy Reid's best weapons. With Buffalo's defensive line adjusting to a new rotation, communication can break down fast. Jet motion from Mecole Hardman or Kadarius Toney can cause hesitation, forcing linebackers to bump assignments and exposing creases inside. Even if those plays only gain a few yards early, they add mental fatigue to a defense that's already reeling from losing a key player. And here's where the chess match gets fun. If Buffalo decides to counter by stacking the box or blitzing more aggressively, Mahomes can flip the script with RPOs and quick seams to Kelce or Noah Gray. Remember, Mahomes doesn't just beat you with big plays, he beats you with patience. Every short completion builds pressure. Every first down keeps Josh Allen off the field. That's how you quietly control a game. Now here's a question for you. If you're Andy Reid, do you lean into the ground game early or keep the throttle open through Mahomes' arm right from the first drive? Drop your thoughts below. I'm genuinely curious which approach you'd prefer. Personally, I think starting balanced is the key. Let the offensive line impose its will, establish rhythm, then let Mahomes dissect the coverage once Buffalo starts to cheat up. That's how you turn a personnel advantage into a strategic victory. If you're enjoying this breakdown and want more videos like this every week, hit the subscribe button and help us reach 6,000 subscribers. Every click helps us bring you deeper Chiefs analysis and keep the community growing strong. The NFL season always has these quiet turning points, moments that don't seem massive in the moment but end up shaping who gets home field advantage, who's playing wild card weekend, and who's watching from the couch. Ed Oliver's injury could be one of those moments, because when you look at how tightly packed the AFC playoff race usually is, even one or two games decided by trench dominance can alter the entire bracket. For Kansas City, a Buffalo team missing its most disruptive interior lineman could change the entire tone of a future rematch. And I don't just mean schematically, I mean psychologically. Let's start with the immediate effect on playoff seeding. The Chiefs and Bills have built a kind of AFC rivalry that feels inevitable every year. It's not just about one game, it's about who's standing in whose way come January. If Kansas City can take advantage of this opportunity in Week 9 and pull off a statement win in Buffalo, it could end up deciding where the postseason rematch happens. Playing the Bills at Arrowhead in January is an entirely different world compared to going up to Buffalo's cold winds and deafening crowd. That single shift, a win in Week 9 versus a loss, could mean hosting an AFC divisional or championship game rather than traveling. And we've seen how those margins play out before. Now think about how this affects locker room confidence. The Chiefs have had a few slow starts this season, but the defense is elite, and the offense keeps finding its rhythm. Beating a top AFC rival, even one that's banged up, reinforces identity. It reminds everyone, coaches, players, and fans, that Kansas City can still dominate when it matters. Buffalo, meanwhile, is dealing with more than just Oliver's loss. The Bills' defensive core has been tested all year, and if they lose another close game to Kansas City, that starts to create mental baggage. You know what I mean? That we can't get over the hump feeling. That creeps into teams when the same opponent keeps beating them in critical games. We saw that dynamic before between New England and Indy during the Brady Manning era. It's real. That's why Week 9 shouldn't be seen as just another game on the schedule. It's a chance for Kansas City to make a statement and also to build playoff insurance. If the Chiefs take care of business in Washington and then carry that focus into Buffalo, they could realistically stack wins and build separation before the December stretch. And that's when things get interesting. A healthier, rested, and confident Kansas City entering the postseason, potentially facing a Buffalo squad that's still patching together its defensive line, is the kind of advantage that doesn't show up in stat sheets but decides championships. It's also about adaptability. Championship teams are the ones that adjust fastest to other teams' weaknesses. The Chiefs have the coaching staff and experience to do that on the fly. When you lose someone as important as Ed Oliver, it changes your identity on defense. Buffalo might try to compensate with more exotic blitz packages or rotations, but that opens the door for Mahomes to exploit mismatches in coverage. So, even if the Bills make the postseason healthy again, that single stretch of games without Oliver could expose tendencies that Kansas City files away for January. That's chess, not checkers. Let me ask you something. Would you rather see the Chiefs beat the Bills now, while they're banged up, or face them later in the playoffs at full strength for a no-excuses kind of win? I want to see how fans feel about that in the comments. Personally, I think momentum and playoff seeding matter more than bragging rights, but I'm curious what you think. And if you've been enjoying how we've been connecting these storylines week to week, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and gets these videos out to more Chiefs fans. Here's the truth. Football seasons don't usually swing because of one player, but when that player is someone like Ed Oliver, the ripple effect can be massive. The Bills have built their defense around interior disruption, and now that piece of the puzzle is missing. For Kansas City, this isn't about celebrating another team's misfortune. It's about recognizing opportunity and executing on it. You've got a chance to gain ground in the standings, test new offensive wrinkles, and maybe even plant a mental seed for a future playoff matchup. That's what great teams do. They take advantage of timing and play their best football when others are scrambling. So here's what I want you to watch for when the Chiefs line up against Buffalo in Week 9. First, pay attention to those early offensive drives. If you see Pacheco getting north-south runs through the middle or Mahomes stepping up comfortably in the pocket, you'll know the absence of Oliver is already showing. Second, keep an eye on how Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice are used. Expect Kelce to attack soft zones in the middle of the field. That's where Oliver's interior pressure would normally collapse passing lanes. Without it, those routes will be open longer, and Mahomes knows exactly how to find them. Defensively, it's about complementary football. Steve Spagnuolo's group has been elite this year, and the Chiefs' defense has arguably been their most consistent unit. If Kansas City can dominate time of possession and force Josh Allen into hurried throws, the defense can pin its ears back late in the game. Remember, momentum on one side of the ball fuels the other. A solid run game and efficient passing attack won't just help the offense, it'll give the defense more chances to close. The bigger takeaway, though, is this. Every great season is built on moments where a team finds its edge. Sometimes that edge comes from a rookie stepping up. Sometimes it's a favorable matchup. And sometimes it's a break in timing, like catching a top opponent when they're not at full strength. If Kansas City plays disciplined football and takes care of business now, they can turn this temporary advantage into long-term control of the AFC playoff race. That's what championship-level focus looks like. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you one last time. Who do you think will have the biggest game when the Chiefs face Buffalo? Pacheco, Kelce, Rice, or Mahomes himself? Drop your pick below, and I'll feature the most common answer in our next breakdown. Also, do you trust Buffalo's defensive depth to hold up without Ed Oliver? Simple yes or no. And tell me why. These comments help spark some of the best football conversations on YouTube, and I love seeing how sharp Chiefs Kingdom always is. If you've enjoyed this full breakdown and want more content like this every week, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and help us reach our goal of 6,000 subscribers. Turn on notifications so you never miss a post-game recap, midweek update, or trade rumor breakdown. Liking and sharing this video is the best way to push it out to more Chiefs fans who love diving deep into these matchups the way you do. And finally, here's your fan action plan. During the Buffalo game, track how many times Kansas City runs the ball between the tackles, how many pressures Mahomes faces from the middle, and how often Kelsey finds space over the middle. Those 3 details will tell you everything about how this matchup is playing out. If the Chiefs control those areas, you'll know they're capitalizing on this window perfectly. Thanks for watching Total Chiefs News. You're part of what makes this community special. Stay tuned, because our next video will focus on how Kansas City's mid-season adjustments could set them up for another deep playoff run. I'll see you in the next one.